Hello, everybody, and welcome to July's Ask Me Anything session in the Too Much Instagram membership. I'm really happy to be here in this crazy time of year when my diary, I don't know about you, but my diary is absolutely jam-packed full, and I'm very much looking forward to the end of the school term, which for my daughter is tomorrow, but for my son isn't until the middle of next week, which my brain can't quite compute that at the moment, but we will get there. Now, with that in mind, that we are in this very busy time of year, you should already have received a post with 24 post ideas that should have landed in your inbox this morning. So I just wanted to mention that to you in case you haven't seen that yet. If any of you decide to go ahead and use any of those post ideas, then feel free to tell me in the comments to that post, drop a link in there, because I would love to come and interact with your posts. And I know just because of the way lots of people in this community want to support one another, but sometimes don't know how to find each other, that could be one way for you to kind of just give a little wave to other people in the community to say, come and have a look at my account and interact with my stuff, because of course those interactions will help your posts reach a little bit further. Now, just with the summer holidays coming up as well, I just wanted to reassure everybody that the What Are You Posting chat threads are going to happen every Monday as usual. The content creator longs are happening on the first Tuesday and third Tuesday of the month as usual, and the Ask Me Anything session will happen as usual. I think it's on the third Thursday or something like that. The dates for your diary post will be coming out as usual at the end of July, beginning of August, so you can put those in your diary. I do have one caveat that I just want to make everybody aware of, that I have not yet booked my family holiday, and it's supposed to be happening in the week commencing the Monday, the 11th of August, which if it highs and there, which if it does happen in the week commencing Monday, the 11th of August, will affect absolutely nothing. But just in case, I just want to sort of put it on people's agenda that if my husband decides that Monday, the 11th of August is not the week for us to go on holiday, then I might have to just sort of move one or two things around slightly to make sure that you are getting the support that you usually get during the holidays. So I just wanted to mention that up front. Okay, so in today's Ask Me Anything session, I have 3 questions that have been submitted in advance, which I'm going to answer first. And then those of you who are here live have the opportunity to ask any follow-up questions to those questions, or ask any questions of your own. So I'm going to kick off with a question, a really meaty question that I'm really looking forward to digging into. So thank you, Anna. So this is Anna's first Ask Me Anything session, so welcome, Anna. And her question is, I have several books that I've published over the last few years. It's my birthday, there's a fly, sorry. It's my birthday in August, and I'd like to use the opportunity to boost my book promotion, perhaps with a special offer. But her main question is this: would it be better to fully focus on one book at a time, e.g. for a 3-month block, rather than try to promote more than one consecutively? So Anna then goes on to explain that her books are broadly linked, but likely speak to slightly different audiences. The most recently published one is Sex Meets Life, which is an anthology of diverse authors sharing the challenges and celebrations that arise when our sex lives come face to face with life events such as illness, sexual awakenings, gender transition, menopause, becoming a caregiver, and disability. The second of her books is Wake Up Your Dragon, which is a picture book of hope and support for folks going through menopause. And then the third of Anna's books is Desire Lines. If you felt free to walk the authentic paths of your desires, where might they lead you? Which is more than a memoir, which I'm intrigued by that term. I've not come across that term before. I'm assuming that there might be like tasks and exercises in there that people can do for themselves. Anna's nodding, so I'm on the right lines. So Anna's asking me, those are her 3 books that have been out for a while. And would it be better to fully focus on one book at a time? And this is such a good question, because this is something that does crop up from time to time with different clients. Some of the other people who may be watching this back on replay, I know, have been in this position. No worries, Zendaya, don't worry. And greetings. Thank you for joining us. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that my name is pronounced Sandhya.
Sandhya.
Yes,
Sandhya.
thank you so
right?
much. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that's fab. Thank you. Okay, so as I was saying, so other clients have come to me with a similar situation where they've got multiple books and are wondering, how do I promote more than one thing at a time? Now, I'm going to just caveat this before I launch into this. I'm going to caveat by saying, if you'd written 2 books and were about to launch a 3rd, my advice would be different to what I'm about to say. And also, if your books were very seasonal in nature, I would be likely to advise you differently. So in the past, I've had a client whose books were very, very seasonal. So she had books that were really applicable to sort of the spring and summer, because they were to do with going on walks in different locations. And so that felt like a very spring and summer aligned. And then her other book was an I was trying to think of the word, a novella. And so that was so what we did with hers is we split them out completely and looked at different seasons. But because your books, Anna, they're already out, first of all, so we're not in a pure launch period. And also because they're not particularly tied to the seasons, I'm going to take a small step back from thinking about how long to promote each one for, which I know your question is about, because I think actually the first thing that I would suggest you do is to identify what might be the bridge or bridges, there may be more than one, that connects all of your books together. So you've got a book that's about sex lives, you've got a book that's about menopause. They feel quite separate, and yet I don't think they will be. I feel like because of the way that you framed them in your descriptions of them, they're about transformation, they're about change, they're about courage, they're about life stages, moving from one life stage into another, and the ways in which that can throw everything up into the air, and how our identity can shift, and the ways in which we can then manage that. So even though they feel quite separate, I feel like there are bridges between all of them. And of course, you are the bridge. You are the thing that holds these multiple things together. Your interest in these multiple things is what holds them together. And I've worked again with a couple more clients. So I don't know if any of you have come across Carrie Lloyd, who originally became known for talking about grief. She had a really popular grief podcast. She also is very well known in the improvisation comedy world. She runs an improvised comedy show called Ostentatious, which is all about Jane Austen and improvised. It's on a stage with a cast, but it's improvisation. And she also does a book review podcast, and she also writes children's books. So she has this really multi-hyphenate approach. And when her first children's books were coming out at the end of 2020, in sort of autumn 2024, I worked with her about how to tap into the bits of her audience that were going to be most relevant to her children's books, but also how to kind of like create this bridge. And what we kind of settled on was that she was the bridge, like her lens, her unique perspective, her humor, because she approached everything with humor, grief, children's books, Jane Austen, all of it was approached with her sort of particular brand of humor. So she was very much the bridge as well. So you were the bridge, and all those other things I've also listed are also the bridge. So what I would say is, rather than thinking in terms of promoting your 3 books in isolation and across and sort of siloing them, I would think more about how can most of your content be sort of be the bridges across all 3 books by going into your sort of personal experiences of transformation and change and courage. Maybe sort of, so I'm just looking at my notes. Maybe there are news stories that crop up, and of course there are news stories that crop up around these things, that you could share your particular perspectives on, that again would bridge across these topics, and you could respond relatively sort of in the moment to certain news topics. And I don't mean like becoming a news journalist or even like, like doing a hot take. I mean, literally, like, how was it